Week 2 of the 2022-23 NBA season is in the books, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review.
The voice of the fan. Drop a bounce pass, throw down the rim rocker. Lay up off the glass right past the shot blocker. I follow through like Kobe's is money. You can cash it. For news on LA hoops, come over to Beach Basket. Up-to-date sports, post-game reports, debates and play-by-play coming straight off the court. The voice of the fan making noise, causing havoc. Zone a man up, you can ask Peach Basket. The Peach Basket, coming tune on there. The Peach Basket, where the news begins. We're dropping news like we're in the stands. Creative views from the average fan.
Jose Salviati, editor and contributor at thepeachbasket.net. Today, we'll look at the top performers by average in the NBA for week number 2, share our math-based NBA rankings, and then discuss the NBA question of the day, which today is which player currently in the NBA can threaten LeBron's all-time scoring mark. I'm happy to be joined by Isaac Edelman of our partner site, flteams.com. He will be providing a quick update on the Miami Heat, who are off to a precarious start. But we'll get to them a little bit later. We want to start by showing all of you a segment we call 6D. Simply put, these are the best dime, the best dagger, the best deny, the best dazzler, the best dunk, and the dud of week number 2. The dagger goes to Kelly Olynyk.
No, he kept the ball.
Utah Jazz were down until he got the ball and did that. Isaac, I know you're a Kelly Olynyk fan.
Yeah, I know.
We go to the Dallas Mavericks for Luka and the best dime of week 2. Now look at what this dude did. He took a seat, but still had the wherewithal to make that pass.
My gosh.
The guy's
Luka
amazing.
creating highlights.
That is not an easy pass to make, and there's only a few people in the NBA who've ever
the
played
field. They
who
are
can
up
make
to
it.
8.
Luka's one of them. Darius Bazley, the Thunder are the youngest team in the NBA. Bazley had the deny of the week. Get used to this, John Morant
Threw it to Conchar.
and the dunk of the week. Elevation Nation. John's amazing.
Out of bounds.
I know there has already been a human highlight film. Man's amazing nickname, but this guy deserves a
behind him. Look at where his body is. He's under the
He's incredible. The Dazzler goes to Robin Lopez. Now look at this. I don't know if you saw this.
There he is again.
I know this is kind of lucky, but that's a pretty smooth play.
Of course, the unlucky play is Robin Lopez, right, Jose?
Oh, he's lucky. He got it to go. It's a Dazzler. And look at the bench. I love their reaction. The dud, and I know you're a fan of this guy. This is the greatest player in the history of the game. 13 seconds on the shot clock, and he decides to do that.
Logo 3.
Come on,
and it didn't draw.
It just goes to show you
the
we can all have duds in our back pocket, including the greatest to ever play the game. No shame in his game. Those were the 6 Ds for week number 2. All right. Let's go ahead and move on then to our team recaps. Now, in the past, we had done our recaps as part of the show. I got to mention it too because it's just disconcerting to me. Yes, my screen is green. My system just isn't working. I normally have a really nice background, but it is what it is. So forgive me. I know it looks kind of weird. But we're starting to do run it backs for individual teams to give people a little bit more time to talk about their team. We exist for passionate basketball fans, right? To talk, to create, to engage, and to limit that to 2-3 minutes just didn't seem fair. So you will see links to Run It Back Clippers edition, Run It Back Lakers edition. We've got Run It Back Spurs edition all coming up. Isaac is just hearing about this. He, as I mentioned, covers or runs flteams.com, covering the Heat and the Magic. So maybe, hopefully, he'll do a Run It Back Heat and Run It Back Magic for us, or somebody on his team will. But until then, we're going to go ahead and dedicate a little bit of time and drop the pin. Let's see, do we still have the pin? Our Cracks graphic department, of course, has the pin. We're dropping the pin in or around Miami. And let's talk about the disappointing Miami Heat. They have a 1 record. I think it was 1-3. I have it here somewhere. So that's obviously not
Yes.
that crack. Yeah, it is. They had a 1-3 record in week 2. Tell me about them. There's got to be some concern, and I know there's some news around our favorite Miami Heat player, Omar Yurtseven. What's going on with the Heat, Isaac?
Well, yeah, I think the whole team is a concern, and it's because they're not winning games. I don't care how good a specific player is playing. You have to win, right? And
Yeah.
the Heat 1-3 for the week, 2-5 on the season. Things are, just not working. And the offense is putting up numbers this season. It's the defense, which is so unusual because the defense has always been Miami's strength. But this year, the defense is not playing well. Let's bring up the Heat's last game. They played the Sacramento Kings. First of all, the Kings led the Heat at halftime, 71-49.
The winless Kings. I got to throw that out there.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, that's what makes it even more ridiculous. The Kings were winless, and the fact that a team is 0-4 playing the Miami Heat, come on. Luckily, the Heat do make a very strong comeback, but they end up still losing 119-113. You look at the box score: Bam Adebayo 23 points, Lowry 15, Hero 34, Strus 11,
Wow.
Jimmy Butler 13, but he at least had 7 rebounds and 6 assists and 4 steals. The numbers are there, but it just seems like the defense is not playing well because look at the Kings. Keegan Murray, 22 points. He's a young stud. The Heat should be able to shut him down, though. Sabonis, 18 points. Matter of fact, he had all 18 points in the first half. Kevin Huerter, a Hawks legend, 27 points. De'Aaron Fox, 17. It's just the defense is a concern. Why? We need to bring him up at some point. Omar Yurtseven. Look, last year I brought him up because, number one, I love him. Number two, I thought it was a funny joke because we brought him up every show. But he's not a rookie anymore, and this season he's going to be playing valuable minutes. So when I bring him up, yes, maybe I'll bring him up because I love him, but not because of a joke anymore. We actually need him. He hasn't played one game this season because of an injury, and he actually made the trip on the West Coast with the Heat, and then he went back to Miami. So his injury is concerning. I'll tell you why it's concerning. Bam Adebayo played in the first quarter against the Sacramento Kings. He didn't play because the Heat needed to extend his 20th season playing minutes. He played because he was Miami's backup center.
Yeah. Now, I think you said Bam, but you're talking about Udonis Haslem.
Yes, Udonis Haslem is Miami's backup center. And for that game, at least, because Dwayne Dedmon's out. And Dwayne Dedmon is not a very good NBA player as it stands. So, I think we are all concerned about the Heat, and we all have a ton of questions. It's as simple as this. The Heat don't have Yurtseven, and the Heat don't have Victor Oladipo. Oladipo also hasn't played a game this season. I don't know what's going on with him because I thought he was finally healthier. He played in the preseason, and I thought we were finally going to get 100% Oladipo. I guess not. So as it stands, the Heat played well against Golden State. They kept it close all the way to the end. Steph Curry put on a show in the fourth quarter, scoring 33 points. But, yeah, the Heat's only win this week was against the Trailblazers on the road. But, looking at it, the Heat are just not finding it. First of all, Jimmy Butler isn't performing that well this season. He's still putting up close to or around 20 points per game, but he's not taking that superstar leap, right? In the playoffs, we see he scores 30 points almost every night. This season, I don't know. It's been around 20. One good sign for the Heat, and I'll leave it at this, is Kyle Lowry is playing much better than he did last season. He is getting way more points and around the same amount of assists as he did last season, which is a really good sign. But, yeah, the Heat's record doesn't look good. They're one of the last seeds in the East right now, along with the Nets. I don't know if you guys expected that. And I believe the Sixers. I think I'm right about that. Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to our power rankings right now, so we'll actually be able to take a look. But what I was going to mention, about the Heat, you got to take a little comfort in the fact that they're not alone in that. They are a team that came into the season, everybody thinking they're going to be great, and I still think they're going to be fine. But they're off to a rough start. So are the Los Angeles Clippers. So are the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. So are everybody, not the Milwaukee Bucks, right? It's been a weird season, and the Utah Jazz are playing well. The Washington Wizards are playing well. The San Antonio Spurs. This is a team I would think. And, Renee was supposed to be here with us. He covers the Spurs. He's a great guy. He'll be with us, I'm sure, throughout the season. No disrespect to the Spurs, but I think if you just pull 10 people aside randomly and ask them to name maybe 2 San Antonio Spurs, maybe 1, you might get 1 out of 10.
I don't want to make myself a fool, but I actually don't know. Maybe the guy Portal is still on the team, but
Jacob is still a Spur. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
So you got 1, but see, and we love the game. We watch the game, so it blows my mind that they're playing as well as they are. But it goes to show this is a weird start to a season. It's not unusual to see poor teams start off 2-0, 3-0, and then dip. Utah has not yet dipped. It's also not unusual for teams to start. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, in their heyday, I think they started 2-5, if I'm not mistaken, in the first year in Miami. And we know how that ended. So bad starts are not a bad thing. They're not ideal, but they're not a bad thing, but it is odd to see this happening to the Heat, certainly to the Clippers, to the Sixers, to the Nets.
And it's not like the Heat are playing very good teams. Obviously they played Golden State, but the Trailblazers, the Raptors, the Kings. I mean, those are not very good teams. If you look at, the Lakers, on the other hand, I mean, facing off against the Clippers, the Nuggets.
That's true. Good point.
Those are tough teams. The Heat haven't really, besides Golden State, they've faced very easy teams. They did face the Celtics. And whatever. I don't want to go past a few weeks. But nothing's been
Let's see how it plays out. As always, great to talk about the Miami Heat. That's our recap. Again, as a reminder, we will link below our recaps for the Lakers and the Clippers. We've got the Spurs coming up, as well as other teams as the season progresses. So with that, now we're going to pivot and take a look at our power rankings. This is something I've been doing for a long time. I like power rankings, but I never liked how subjective they were. People would rank teams based on how badly they lost, or I like this particular player and he put up a lot of points that particular night. I never particularly liked that, so I tried to do something that was more math based. This is a strength of schedule power rankings. All we ask is, did you win, did you lose, and where were you on the road or at home? Simple. You can't get mad at it. You beat a good team at home, you're going to get points. You beat a good team at their home on the road, you get more points. It's pretty easy. You lose to a bad team at home, you get 0 points. Again, really straightforward. Let's take a look at where the Eastern Conference teams line up from 15 all the way to number 1. I think stop me if this is too loud. All right. I think the Pistons, the Magic, your Magic.
It's way too loud.
There's the Heat at 11. I'm surprised, but probably warranted. Your Bulls at number 9. I think they'll be okay. It's surprising Washington did not have a good season. The Sixers had a really good week and rebounded after I got started. Celtics also had a rough week. They come in at 4. The Raptors at 3, which is the most surprising thing. The Milwaukee Bucks coming in at number 1, 5-0 overall. They've yet to lose. Now let's take a look at the Western Conference. How was that audio? Is that okay? Not too loud?
Way too loud.
It was too loud?
Yeah, I said it, but I guess you didn't hear me.
I couldn't hear you. All right, I'm sorry. I'll make sure to fix that. Let's bring in the Western Conference, adjust that audio. The Rockets coming in number 15. Better audio? The Lakers at number 14, the only winless team in the NBA. The Clippers had a horrible week and did not look good today. They're at 11, the Timberwolves, apartment 13, Timberwolves at 12, which is odd because they're really good. The Kings at 11, the Mavericks at 10, the Nuggets at 9, 4-2 overall, low, just as you said, the West is top. The Grizzlies 4-2 also at 8, the Golden State Warriors 3-3 overall, but there's nothing to worry about with the Warriors. The Pelicans, I saw them today, they look good. This is a good basketball team. I do not know about the but they come in at number 5. Surprising! Utah Jazz at number 4. Thunder at 3. Youngest team in the NBA. That's amazing. The Blazers are off to a good start at number 2, but James hurt. And then the Suns coming in at number 1. Remember when the Suns lost their first preseason game and everybody panicked? Nothing to worry about for the Suns. So those are our power rankings, math-based. You can't get mad at them. They are available on TikTok and YouTube. We will update them weekly. One other thing we do and post regularly to TikTok are our best performances in week 1. Now, what you saw before 6D was the best dunk, the best deny, the best dish, etc. What we look at in best performances is who averaged the most points, who averaged the most assists. So look for that video again on our TikTok and YouTube channels. We won't be showing it here. All right. So with that, then let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming and talk NBA question of the day. Week 2 is over. The NBA season is in full swing. Probably the most exciting thing that'll happen in the NBA regular season this season is when LeBron James passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the scoring title. 39 years, I think it's been pretty incredible, pretty amazing what LeBron has done. He came into the league at 17 and put up big numbers right away. So I'm going to ask this question as we are about a month or two away from watching LeBron break that record. Which current NBA player is most likely to challenge LeBron James' scoring record after he breaks it? Isaac, what do you think?
Well, my answer would be Victor Wembanyama, but you said current NBA player.
He's not current, yeah. He's about as close as you can be, but yeah, that's a good
yes,
pick.
exactly. No, that if you didn't say what current NBA player, that would have been my option because I think he is going to be the best NBA player. And that means that he's probably going to score the most points to pass LeBron James' scoring record. Anywho, what current NBA player? You know, there's a lot of players in this league, but you also have to predict durability to answer this question, right? Yeah. In my opinion, look, Zion's a guy that's going to score a lot of points, but I don't think he's going to last that long. You know, he's an injury-prone player, and I just don't see him lasting as long as LeBron did. And you need to last as long as LeBron did to match or challenge his scoring record, because even if you play as long as LeBron does, you still don't average 20-plus points per game at that age. So I'm going to go with Luka Doncic. He is still very young, and he's still putting up a ton of points at this level. Obviously, 23 years old. He's already been in the league for a couple of years, and he is just a scorer, right? He is not a pass-first guy, and that's going to help him pass LeBron James' scoring record. Look, I don't know if he could pass it, but I think he's the most likely to challenge LeBron James' scoring record. If you look at Giannis has been in the league for a while. It took him a few years to get, known, right, in the starting lineup. He's 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's not going to challenge LeBron James' scoring record. And, you look at players like Curry, already up in age. That's not going to happen as much as he scores. So then you have to consider, other players. Is it going to be Jokic, Embiid? Those are centers, right? I really think that Doncic would be most likely. And honestly, that's most likely. I'm going to have to ask you, Jose, do you actually think someone will challenge LeBron James, let alone pass? I really think it's just Victor Wembanyama. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that way. I appreciate it. It's a bit of a trick question in the sense that, yeah, I don't think anybody, especially nobody that's current, is going to challenge this record. I just don't think it's possible. I do think the type of player that will potentially, who has at least the the likelihood, the potential to break this record, is going to be somebody like Steph Curry, right? Somebody who can shoot threes. Because those, that's an extra point for every shot, right? Yeah. And that's the type of player. It's certainly the type of game that we're in now. That's the type of player that's going to challenge this record. Kareem, I think in his career took or made one NBA or one 3-pointer. I might be wrong, but I know he didn't take a lot. Obviously when he started his career, there was no 3-point shot. He made his bread and butter was the sky hook. LeBron will shoot a couple of threes, not a great 3-point shooter, but he'll make them. We know his game. But the type of player has got to come in, first off, have Steph Curry type handle, have Steph Curry type range, come in at 17, and he's got to average 25 points for the next 20 years. Yeah, well, and then he'll have a shot. Then he'll be close. So that's going to be a special player. I don't, every time something incredible happens in the NBA or any sport, really, we often hear, we'll never see that again.
Exactly.
I think we will. I think somebody will break LeBron's record. But I agree with you, Isaac. It's nobody who's currently playing in the NBA.
And that's because there's no Steph Curry, similar skilled player right now. I mean, Dame has that skill, but again, those are guys up in age. It's already, impossible basically to pass.
But what's interesting is I look at Jordan Poole, right? Jordan Poole is who he is, I think, because he watched and learned from Curry. And there's a bunch of players today watching Steph Curry. So you'll see guys in middle school now, in high school, in college, they're going to play that Steph Curry type game. And there will be somebody who's going to break through and have that kind of career. What distinguishes LeBron from everybody else, though, and you mentioned this, is his longevity, right? He has been so good for so long. That's tough to do. We've all heard that he spends $1 million a year on his body. So this player's got to come in, have that kind of range, have that kind of longevity, be able to commit that kind of money to his well-being so that he can last 20 years and never have a serious injury.
Exactly.
That's a lot to ask, but it could happen. Just not happening with who's currently lacing him up in the NBA. Great conversation. Always love to end my day talking basketball. This is what I would do whether or not the camera was on. So we are grateful as always. That's it. That's our show. Week number 2 of the 2022-23 NBA season is in the books. Join us next week after week number 3 when we once again run it back.
The voice
Talk
of
next
fan.
week.
Drop
Thanks,
a bounce
Isaac.
pass, throw down the rim rocker. Lay up off the glass right past the shot blocker. I follow through like Kobe's his money. You can cash it. For news on LA hoops, come over to